work 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Da, 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 da. Na, 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 na. Working 9 to 5. That's what me and Maggie been doing.
Working.
It's too much. We're over it. I love that we complain about our jobs every episode, though. As we should. So honestly, normalize it.
Yeah. Who really loves their job? It's going to be like a couple people. I want to say 10%, maybe less, of working people love their job.
Yeah, it's like...
Maybe 30% like it, and then the rest tolerate.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we could give a percent to hate. Tolerate and hate.
Because there's some that like kind of that life of like just doing the job and then clocking out and all that, which I can see that. There's beauty in routine.
100%. Like I can think of one coworker at each place I've worked that was like, loved the mission, just did everything. One who was like really on their Zoom. I love it here. This is my birthplace. Like, what's that girl's name? Your friend.
Who? Is she a teacher?
No, she's an accountant like you, but she wants to like be a VP and do all the
Katie.
things. Katie loves work. Mm-hmm. She's like, I like work and I want to excel at work. Mm-hmm. She's in it.
She moved to like even like from...
Oh, I thought you said she moved away.
No, she moved. She moved. She's still doing kind of something accounting, but it's a little different direction than usual accounting. And that's why she wants to do like the VP and all that. And I'm like, good for you. It must feel nice to feel passionate and want to move up in a job.
100%. I used to feel like that with my I actually feel like I've had moments. I buy in. When I get there, I'm in it. And then after I notice that it's not working, I'm like, cuckoo.
You know, I think it's telling that when I started my job, I knew I didn't want to move that far up.
We need something different.
The signs were there.
You know it. Yeah.
But you know, I saw the signs and it opened up my eyes, but I still did nothing. But I still didn't transition because I didn't want to go back to school. And that's a lot of debt.
What?
That I'm still paying off.
Pause. Why would you need to? You already have your Mac.
I know. Well, if I want to do something other than accounting.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Kind of.
Maybe.
It depends.
Yeah, I guess it depends.
But you know, that is what it is.
Not people doing course careers for accounting, and Brandon's like, get me out of here. Get out.
No.
Quick, leave if you can. Help. Run for the hills. Accounting sucks.
It doesn't look. If you like it.
Yeah, some people like it.
Some people like it. And there is a routine to it. There's perks. It's not all that bad.
You're just a creative. You're a creator.
Thank you, Maggie.
He's very artistic.
Oh.
He needs a place where he could flourish in that sense.
Maggie.
Or just an opportunity to do it outside of work. But that's a lot of time.
Yes. So what we're basically saying is you guys should rate our podcast 5 stars.
Please.
Leave a review.
We would never disrespect Meg the Stallion on the red carpet.
We would never.
Look, it's people with raw talent like us that just need a leg up. I don't know who. Y'all need to DM people on our behalf and say... These people.
But some of y'all in our TikTok comments getting a little too comfortable.
I'm fine with that.
I am too.
Be critical of us.
I like it too. I'm joking. But it was funny because someone commented, they were like, oh yeah, it was about Kyle Cook. If you're listening to our other episodes, like about Summer House, we went in on Kyle Cook.
Yeah, we did.
And we posted a few clips. And someone was like, coming from a 30-something-year-old podcasting in their basement or something like that. And I almost responded, I just turned 30 and this is my living room. But I didn't. Because they had a dog as a profile picture. And how am I going to look being on these streets arguing with Lassie?
And that's not the same because it was the video when we were like making fun of Kyle for being a big baby.
Yes, and being like 40 and having the people be like, good job, Kyle, you're smiling.
That the context is he's a man-child, but sure. Yeah,
It's something with dog profiles because another person with a dog profile commented something like, you think you would have it all together at 40, but then you realize, and I couldn't tell if they were trying to drag or read us. I mean, hey, read us.
The number
But
triggered them, but that's not even what we were
that wasn't
focusing
the
on.
point.
The point was he's a man child. But anyway, look, hey, I honestly think we're doing something right if we have people hating.
No, agreed. Our
We need to
haters are our motivators.
We need to get like what's the quintessential hater, like fraternity boys commenting
We'll
on
find
our-
those on YouTube Shorts on my YouTube channel, BLordAF, BLORTAF. There's some interesting people.
What do they say about you?
One time, they just like, some will be like, one time I posted about like a soap dispenser at my parents, and they're just like, "Oh, you're living at your parents," and I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Oh my god!
Or sometimes I'll get the random comment, "He's gay, right?" Or "gay," and I'm like, "Okay."
And
bitch,
and the fuck
you asking for a reason?
what is it? Questioning minds would like to know.
Yeah, and then someone once commented, I just delete it because it kind of scared me. This long thing about how unfunny I am.
Wow.
And like, but it was like a weird comment. I'll have to find it at some point. And then their YouTube channel, they play like shooting games, and I'm like, I need to remove this. It gave bad vibes. I'm like, do not. And it was this very long comment drawn out, and it almost
That's not okay.
It got past the point of effort, because you know sometimes if someone will read you and it like took a little effort, but it's kind of like, you did that.
Yeah.
They did too much.
Yeah, that's type weird. But I mean, yeah, people are gonna do it. People are gonna troll, just like we
Yeah.
troll. So
We troll.
our platform is low key trolling.
It is.
We're critical, so we gotta be able to
but
take
we
it.
shade ourselves too, y'all.
We sure
before anyone
do.
else.
We sure do. But the other comments are not cool. I'm sorry. That's not
fine.
okay.
I mean, that's what it is. It's that or that. What are you gonna do?
I feel like
It's engagement.
It is. I feel like the sexuality comments are just like, okay, and it's 2025. Y'all need to figure it out.
That part.
Oh my gosh.
Or even when people comment like about looks, like I've seen like comments on Ariana, like this interview she did, and people were like, she's looking old, and like she wasn't, but also like if she was, she's people age, and the comments would be like, you know, she's not like she's age. That happens with time, but also she looks great, like she doesn't look old. Like,
yeah,
people are crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I'm even thinking about it more. I don't think we troll people unnecessarily. We troll them based off of what they're doing.
That part.
And it's typically folks who are made up, like on White Lotus or reality TV, where they're putting themselves out there, you know? So I feel like it's like kind of fair game. Like,
we'll make fun of your clothes, but not your nose.
Right. Like, you knew they were your shoes. What's the guy's name?
Oh, Carl.
Oh gosh, Carl's shoes were ugly. Like, you know that you showed your ass on TV, right? Like, the
Right.
cameras are there. Like,
It is what it is.
So I'm gonna say something, but you know, but we don't go below the belt to be like, you're this and that.
No, we don't really. If we have in the past, we try not to. I will say,
don't
look,
think we really
I'll tell
do.
myself
Sometimes.
a little bit. Love Island USA season 2, I did comment on someone's neck and did impersonate. But hey, he was a fuck boy.
Right, like Tim, we don't seek out innocent bystanders. Like, it's the shade of it all. Come on.
What are you expecting?
Y'all let us know, but
Let
I
us
think
know.
we're just fine.
Agreed. Never change. But you know who should change? The Ratliffs.
Oh my gosh. We've got 2 episodes. Sorry,
We do.
y'all. Life has been lifing. So
Life has been.
A Sunday drop is really hard.
Yeah, because it's Sunday night.
So that gives us Monday to record, and that's hard. Tuesday to record, which could be even harder. So today is Thursday, and we're catching up on 2 weeks.
We are, but we'll be caught up after this week, which
Yeah.
is good.
We're not very far behind.
Look, it is what it is. And soon this White Lotus, I feel like it's going to be over in the blink of an eye.
Oh yeah, because what episode was that?
This is 4 and 5 we're going to cover.
4 and 5?
And I think they're having 8 to 10. Because the guy who plays Saxon made a tweet like, enjoy the second half of the season. But I don't know if he said that before 5 aired or after. I think before, which makes me think there's going to be 8
Didn't we
episodes.
talk about it once? Because I was like, one season had 7, one season had 8. or something like
didn't the first season have 6 and then the other had 7? So we were like, this one might have 8.
Yeah.
So that tracks. Let's jump into these episodes.
White Lotus.
Quite a few things happened. Okay, so do we want to... We usually go by groupings of the people.
Yeah.
Do we want to do 4 and then 5?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think that would be good.
Yeah, we did that our first time doing this when we did episodes 1 and 2. Okay, so it's been a couple weeks since it's all 4, so my notes will be reminding me. So apologies in advance. But oh my gosh, what just happened? Oh my god, I thought my notes deleted, but they didn't. Thank God.
Who do we want to start with?
Let's start with Belinda, just because she has not much going on. They're really putting setting the scene. Each episode is half a seed.
Yeah.
To plant the plant.
Yeah.
Of Belinda.
Yeah.
It's like we're slowly doing this.
We are, and I really try. I feel like they're. The first 2 seasons I watched, there was always one person in particular who looked like, oh, you're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
And it's never them. So I feel like they're kind of doing that with Belinda, the thing in her room that she keeps hearing and all that other stuff. But yeah, so this episode,
she is talking to her son because he's at the airport and he's gonna make it to the resort the next day, and she's excited. But then this is where she starts to hear something in her room, and so then she's meeting with Pornchai, and he's like, "Is everything okay?" And then she just brings up how her interaction with Gary the night before is bugging her.
Very bizarre. Very bizarre.
And that was when she had asked, she's like, "Do I know you?"
Yeah.
Like, no. But then in this episode, she Googles Tanya.
Yeah.
She finds out she died.
Yeah.
And she saw one headline where it says the husband is being questioned. And so she then Googles Greg, his actual name,
which is so crazy. I didn't think it was actually gonna come. I didn't think he was actually Greg. It kind of makes sense though, because when we met him in season 1, he was just like a chill guy, and I don't know when he became decided to. I don't know if the plotting was like his initial thing or if it came later.
Yeah.
But I did think it was so funny because he works for the Bureau of Land Management, and initially Jennifer Coolidge's character was like, he works for Black Lives Matter, because he was like, I work for BLM.
Oh. She's
like, I met this man, he works for Black Lives Matter. And then she's like, how long have you been in activism? And he's like, what? I'm not in activism.
What are you saying?
So yeah, Greg, the jig is up. She's putting the pieces together that he did. And then even in one of the headlines, it was like 3 people dead and 1 drowned. So it's pretty damning.
It is. And she sees him talking to Fabian at one point, and they just make eye contact, and it's kind of like she's got him clocked.
Yeah.
And he knows it.
Which I think is, I'm like, girl, why you make it? You gotta be more. Don't look at him.
Yeah, don't act nonchalant, Belinda.
You're acting suspect, and he clocked it.
We can't have this happen. We love you, Belinda. You are like a bright light in the show, despite barely being in it.
Yeah, I know. When I see her, I'm like, peace.
Yes, comfort. And then it jumps to fucking the
Ratliffs.
The rat.
We're popping pills and doing crazy stuff.
They are. Should we go to the trio?
Wait, was that it?
That was it for Belinda episode 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's basically just setting the fact that it's confirmed that Gary is Greg.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's go to Gaitok just to get him out of the way.
Oh, yeah,
Gaitok and Mook.
Yes, she's gonna have her dancing performance, and she's like, "Are you gonna come?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll come." Yeah. They're so cute. I love them.
They are.
And then he asks her on a date, and she's like, "Okay." She's kind of cute about it.
The accident has helped him get his riz up.
It has. He's got some confidence. I love it. He's adorable. There's a meeting about the robbery. or he's gonna have a meeting about the robbery, I think with Fabian.
Yeah, Fabian and some other guy. I don't know if he had a name.
Yeah, I forget. If so, apologies. But Mook is like, oh, maybe you'll get a promotion or you'll be able to be the security for Stutala. And he's like, oh, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Cut to Fabian scolding him and saying there's been more crime lately. Your job.
You've been a little lax around this thing. And honestly, Brandon, I haven't seen Gaitok do a damn thing. He sucks at his job.
He's not the best. I feel bad about the robbery, though, because it was kind of like he got attacked.
Yeah, he tried. He tried.
That was hard, I think.
But I just feel like whenever we see him, he's like talking to Mook and looking for Mook and walking places.
He's like, but where is she?
He's not like the
He's
best.
just a lovesick puppy.
So he's like, you got to get on your Zoom. And then the guy's like, he's like, your coworker here has a plan. Mm-hmm. And the coworker's like, I got a gun. I think you need to learn how to use it. That's the plan?
Right. Gaitok's just like,
security?
Okay.
A gun.
I guess.
He's like, go to the shooting range. He's like, I have a license. Go to the shooting range and you'll figure it out. And I'm like, that's all?
I guess. Look, and
Fabian, did you know the plan?
I wonder if he did. Something tells me he did. Fabian seems like he's got something going on.
Yeah.
I don't know though. But trying to find, because I don't think they show too much. Okay, there we go. He's looking at the gun. Mook shows up looking nice.
Yes.
And she's like, how'd the meeting go? And he says it was fine, but no promotion. And then she says, you better watch me dance and not to forget their first date. And then they kind of walk off. And someone else is there too, but we'll get to that at some point. Mm-hmm. Should we do the trio next?
Sure.
Because they didn't have too much. I mean, it's kind of like Jacqueline calls her husband and he doesn't answer.
She's like, are you working? You might be sleeping. What are you doing? And I was like, is he real?
That part, I'm a little like, we're not hearing anything from him. And it's kind of just like, clearly it's not the love story she tried to portray it was. Like, oh, we're so obsessed with each other.
Right, because if that was true, then he would be answering you. And he's not.
But, you know, poor Jacqueline, she's got some other things going on, as we'll see with episode 5. But she tells the friends that, like, oh, I think he's on set because he's not really talking to me. And they're like, yeah, sure, okay. Yeah, that's what's happening.
Lots of silent communication with them.
Very much. They're just making faces like...
And then she's like, we gotta have fun. We gotta do things. We gotta get out. Let's have fun. And they're like, what kind of fun? We have yoga. And she's like, no, not yoga. We gotta turn up. Like, Valentine, what should we do today? Help us find something fun to do. And he's like, not yoga. And they're like, no, we want to do something fun. And he's like, okay, yeah, there's a place.
Yeah.
I'll send you over there. I'll get you a cab.
I know a place. There's something about Valentine I don't think I trust.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe his friends.
His friends are sketchy. I don't like his friends.
Yeah. There's just something. And maybe, because I think there's something, people think he might have something to do with the robbery. Because wasn't he talking to Gaitok at that point? Or at some point when the car came? And then I'm like, maybe his friend was the one who robbed. I thought maybe one of them was.
That's a good thought.
We'll see.
Yeah, no, he saw Valentine at the gate. Was talking. Did Valentine see the murder? Not the murder, but the assault too? What happened? Did he just disappear when Gaitok got assaulted? We might have to watch back.
I don't know. I think by then he wasn't there, or we at least didn't see him. But we gotta look back, yeah. But they do go to this poolside resort, and at first they're kind of having fun. And like 2 older ladies make conversation with Jacqueline, and they're like, "Oh, we're 2 widowers who met here." And they wanted to go to the White Lotus, but they're not posh enough. And Jacqueline's like, okay, oldies, thanks. Stop talking to me, please.
She's like, oh, well, it's nice meeting you. Like, what am I supposed to say to that? You're not posh enough.
Yeah.
Taco.
And then she starts to notice there's a lot of old people at this resort, and she's disgusted.
She starts to panic. She's like, wait a minute. You're old. They're old. The people who are getting in the pool are old. The people sitting next to me are old. The bartender is old.
Am I old?
Am I old? Does Valentine think I'm old and that's why he recommended we come here? Because she's like, we gotta get out of here. And the girls are like, why? What's that problem? There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong here. She's like, bitch, get your shit. We're leaving.
We gotta go.
We gotta go. And so they leave and she sees Valentine. She's like, why the fuck would you send us there?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
And he's like, oh, I thought it was a good place. And they're like, no, we want to have actual fun.
I thought she was just gonna crash out on him, but she really gave him, she's like, no, please, something else fun. And he's like, okay, well, you could go into the town. There's the full moon festival.
Oh yeah, the full moon party or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he brought them in there for that. He was just like, go into town and I'll meet you there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they go.
They go. They're like shopping, and he's like, "I invited my friends," and they're like, "Okay." But then everyone has like water guns, and they're just being followed and sprayed with these water guns,
harassed by these kids who are just like tormenting them with water guns, and it seems like local people too. So I'm just like, is it because you're tourists, clearly, or I don't know why, but it was kind of funny.
It was.
They run into a store to try to hide, and like the kids are like waiting outside for them, and I'm like, again, Valentine kind of set you up, because they were like, why does everybody have water guns at first? And he was like, oh, it's just this thing that we do, I'll see you later. Like,
it's just part of it.
He didn't help them.
Don't think too much about it.
Yeah.
But they hide out, but then they arrive at a party and they're all like, what happens in Thailand stays in Thailand.
They're ready to turn up.
Yes. And is where Valentine arrives with his friends. And then I think that's all we get for this episode with them, but we definitely get more of them partying with the friends in episode 5.
Yeah. I thought it was ironic that, so we see, what's the actress's name?
Which one?
The actress?
Oh, Jacqueline.
Yeah, we see Jacqueline who's like trying to like re-energize herself, right? I was gonna say something else. You know what word I was trying to say? Reinvigorate herself.
Yeah.
She's trying to get her life back, right? And then she's first surrounded by old people. Then she's surrounded by a bunch of young people. I just thought like kids. She's like tormented by the elderly, tormented by children, and then finally is like with young adults and is feeling like better. But I just thought it was ironic that like she's being followed by or like surrounded by what she's afraid of almost.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be a child, but I don't want to be old.
She hasn't found her demographic.
Yeah, it seems like she's very insecure about aging.
Oh, definitely.
and so she's like running from it almost.
Yeah.
Like, kids are too much, which is ironic because it's like if you were running from age, maybe seeing kids having fun, you'd like get into it. But she's like, no, hell no, I don't want to do this either. No. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, she's definitely she's going through it these couple episodes.
Yeah.
And she ends episode 5 with a bang.
Yeah.
We'll see that.
Yeah.
Rick and Chelsea. What they got going on?
So I think they start off with breakfast.
She's like, things happen in 3, Rick. Robbery, snake show. What's next?
No, I was like, I like your intuition. Honestly, yeah, something is going to probably happen. I don't know if it's to you, but...
That part. And he's like, well, that's fucking stupid. But anyways, I'm going to Bangkok. Don't forget.
And she's like, why? Like, why are you leaving me? And he's like, I told you already. We already went through this, Chelsea. I don't know why you're acting brand new.
You're hurting my feelings. You're abandoning me.
Mm-hmm. She's like, why are we even in Thailand? Why'd you drag me here?
She cries with no tears, which I liked.
I thought that was interesting that he ate it up. He fell for it. Rick was like, oh, she looks sad. She looks really sad. Okay. Because she was begging him to go on the boat. He didn't want to go. And so she gives him some puppy dog eyes. And I'm like, how did that work? How did that work on you, Rick?
I think he does like her.
I think he does.
He's got a soft spot, but he's so like emotionally guarded.
Yeah.
And like an asshole, but sweet.
Yeah.
I like Rick. But they go, she checks on the store owner of the place that got robbed and tells her about the snake bite. And then Amrita tells him, they run into each other at the lobby, and she's like, we should have another session. And he's like, well, I'm going to Bangkok today, so I can't. And she's like, you've touched my heart and you're not stuck. You can let go of your story and escape the karmic cycle. He's like, anyways, I'm going to find the person who killed my father.
Please like step over to the left. I have things to do.
I have a lot of things to do. I thought that was
interesting how it's getting like a lot of spiritual energy with this season of White Lotus.
It is a lot, and like, yeah, I think that's gonna come up too at some point, because people are mentioning on TikTok like the statues and everything like that, always looking. But yeah, there is a lot of that in this. They show up in the boat, and it's basically just like he's talking to like these random bald guys that are there, because there's a lot of bald guys at this resort per what's her name?
Oh, Chloe.
Yeah,
it seems like she invited everybody on the boat. And yeah, they're all basically talking about how they hide money, how they've gotten rid of like, or gotten away with like not paying like spousal support or child, like they're crooks essentially, just scheming away, discussing their schemes. And Rick is not impressed. He's basically like, if I need something, I'll call you. And he just gets up and walks away.
Right. He's like, if I ever need to hide money from the government or my wife, I will hit you up.
I thought that was interesting. Like, they're really just sitting, like the audacity is crazy. Like, you're a criminal and you're just casually talking to strangers about it. You don't know who these people are or what the ramifications could be. Like, you have no sense of remorse.
Right.
No conscience, that you're just sitting here talking about your crimes.
Yeah, it's very it's that like it's almost like how the Ratliffs are and the dad was prior to potentially getting arrested. Just that blatant, just like I can get away with anything, like elitist type of thing.
Definitely.
And just like, of course I love Thailand, we can hide money.
Right.
And it's like, huh?
Above the law.
But Chelsea, she drags Rick to the other side of the boat and she's like, look, are you ever gonna let me in? I'm at the end of my rope. And he asks, what do you want to know? And she's like, why are we here? And then he's like, because the dude that murdered my father owns the hotel. And it's like, well, now we have a why.
Now we have a why.
Which I feel like we kind of predicted that at one point.
I feel like we said something like that.
Yeah. So, but nice to, I wonder, which I guess we'll learn, like, who the fuck is this owner of this hotel? He's like doing all that.
It's what's her name's husband.
Yeah, but we haven't seen him yet.
Oh, like who is he? Yeah. So Rick wants to like find him. Doesn't really say explicitly why. And Chelsea's like, to do what? What are you gonna do? You're gonna do something stupid. Please don't go. Don't go.
Yeah.
But and he's like,
he gives going. Like, yeah, he's like, I'm gonna go. Like, you can't convince me otherwise. But he kind of gives backstory on his dad and was just like, oh, he was this good doer. I can't speak. I'm so sorry. He was a good doer, and he was here trying to help locals stop Americans from stealing their land. One day he disappeared and was never found, and then his mom told him the name of the guy who did it
on her deathbed.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of understand Rick a little bit more. Like, okay, he wants to... He heard of his dad being a great person and never got to experience it. Thinks this guy, like, essentially, ruined his life.
Yeah.
So... he wants to go find him.
He wants to seek justice and
so
revenge.
Rick is a little less sketchy.
A little less,
I was like, no, we know. Makes sense. For him to be sketchy off rip, I was like, it's probably something we don't understand. So it makes some sense, but yeah.
Yeah, he's a softie in the inside, but
yeah,
he's just hurt and he's trying to get revenge for his dad. And, and she's like, are you going to do anything crazy? Are you going to kill him? And she's like, I don't know. Yeah. And then he just like hugs her. Yeah. And I'm like, so that means yes?
I'm glad that. So we kept wondering, like, is she just blissfully unaware? But seems like she really didn't know what he was up to.
Yeah, or at least could have never guessed it was that.
Yeah.
And she's like begging him not to go, and he's like, I'm gonna go. And she's like, you're gonna do something fucking stupid, aren't you? Mm-hmm. And so he says he just needs to tell him what he did. Like, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna like bring it up to him. And she's like, I don't believe you. But
I was like, Rick, you're kind of old. Homeboy might not remember.
Maybe. Or like, who knows? Or maybe he knows how to fight. Or maybe he has a gun.
Yeah, we never know.
Look. But he goes and she joins the boat for the full moon party.
Yeah.
Which leads us to the Ratliffs.
Mm-hmm. Or do you want to do Chloe and Gary?
Oh yeah, did they have much? What did they got going on? Let me see what I have.
We just kind of saw Gary's point of view.
Oh, yeah.
So at first, I think we first start off with them just greeting everybody on the boat. It's obvious Chelsea invited everybody, because when I saw the Ratliffs get on the boat, I was like, who? I thought this was like Rick and Chelsea's friend, but it seems like Chloe has been inviting everybody under the sun to this boat thing. Mm-hmm. And so Gary is just kind of like along for the ride, here for the stay, not really interested.
Yeah.
The Ratliff's mom asks him what he does, and he just kind of gives another like vague answer. And then we saw Chloe at one point was asking him.
She was like asking if he's okay.
Yeah.
And then she wants to go to the party tonight, and he's like, I can't.
And she's like, well, can I take the boat to the party? And he's like, he kind of looks at her like, really? Mm-hmm. She's like, because you can't go. I mean, I want you to go, but you can't go. So can I take the boat?
And he's like, fine. So they drop him off.
And she's like, oh my gosh, I love you. And kisses him. And he like rolls his eyes. Like he's like, he knows that she's not in love with him.
Yeah.
Like he knows what it is.
Which, I mean, they're an interesting dynamic, because I know at one point I predicted they were spies. I don't think she is, at least. He's definitely got something going on, as we know. But I don't know, she's an interesting one. Yeah,
she's a little weird.
Yeah.
I just want to know how they got together. Like, I want to know their backstory. Like,
yeah,
because she also seems to know that he's mysterious but doesn't really question it. So I'm like, are you just with her so that you're not alone and you can like enjoy Thailand, I guess, with somebody? But
I could see that, and it's definitely, she doesn't care about him the way like Chelsea cares about Rick.
No, like Chelsea actually likes Rick, mm-hmm. and I don't think that Chloe cares much about Gary.
No. But I think the last part is Gary, he's at his place and he finds the Instagram of Belinda and her son. Mm-hmm. And he's just kind of looking and we're like, oh shit, Belinda.
Yeah, Belinda, you're in trouble, girl. He's like looking at their pictures and trying to see, like, I wonder how he found her so fast. But yeah, he found her. So.
All right, let's go to the Ratliffs.
Oh, they're so messy. There was a lot.
There's a lot with the Ratliffs. It seems like
it's the most with the Ratliffs.
Oh, for sure. Because they just like are messy boots. And, you know, the dad's becoming a pillhead. He's about to go to jail, mate.
He's gone.
He is. And I had a theory that maybe, because the episode 4, he's like in the shower and he's taking pills. I had a theory that maybe the wife knows about what's going on. I don't know for sure, because there's more that happens that kind of leads to maybe not, but I still think there's a possibility. And I wonder if like she hates him so much, she knows about it. Maybe she was the whistleblower. Maybe she found out, and maybe she's getting him addicted to pills as a revenge for being an awful husband. But she kind of sucks too, so I don't know. But that was my conspiracy theory at the start of episode 4.
I like it.
I feel like there's got to be one aspect that's true.
Yeah, I wonder, because she seems so aloof, but maybe she's not. She's like aloof about him, but on par with everything else.
Yeah.
Like she reads other people, but can't read her husband, you know? Mm-hmm. So maybe she does know.
There's something. Mm-hmm. But Saxon makes more protein shakes, and he's like, Lockie, get the fuck over here. You got to drink one. And he's like, I don't want to. But he does. I think he does, at least. Piper says girls don't like jacked guys like that anymore. And then this is where he like takes her book and like hits her in the head with it, and it's just like saying like, don't let Saxon become an agender and asexual like you, and all this. And I'm just like,
you mean Lockie? Don't let Lockie be.
Let Lockie, yes. Yeah. Saxon saying it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Saxon.
I was like, damn, Saxon. And then they just kind of fight.
Yeah. Oh. And then the mom's like, who is taking my pills?
She's like, I counted them. I got a refill before we got here.
My lorazepam is missing. Who's doing this?
And the dad is just like, I don't think he said anything. And the Piper's just like, Mom, do you really need lorazepam in paradise, essentially? In the place of peace? Like, do you really need it? And she just kind of...
Yeah. And I think Saxon is also like, do you need it? And I'm like, yeah, you're the reason, bitch. She has this awful son who she seems to like, but still.
Yeah. I'm curious why the mom needs to be a pillhead. Like, you have a great life. You want for nothing. Well, you used to. Well, you don't know yet, but you have wanted for nothing. You get to like be part of clubs and just do whatever.
But that's the thing. She has all these external materialistic things, but deep down,
she's not happy.
Unhappy. This is where the dad flashes everyone, and that was just a random part.
He's so like out of it that he doesn't realize he's naked and his robe is coming undone. It was funny because Piper like falls over and Lockie just pats her head. I'm like, oh, Lockie.
Oh, Lockie. So then they arrive at the boat, and Chloe and Gary are there. It's their boat, and they introduce themselves to Gary. And Victoria's like, what's your line of work? And he's like, the government. And he's like, oh, I did some investing before. And isn't she like, well, maybe, Timothy, he does investing. Maybe you know him, or y'all know people. And they're like, maybe. We're criminals. We're not really.
He's like, I don't want to know Timothy, actually.
Right. And then I love the mom on the boat because she's so disgusted by everything. The people, silently the judging. Ambiance.
Yeah, we kind of need to go from person to person. Yes. So the mom is just like kind of observing all of the people, and essentially what she's looking at is all of these old men with very young women who do not look like those men. Look like they're from different countries, or at least cultural backgrounds from these men. And so she's watching one couple, and the girl's like kissing her partner, and she's just like, her mouth is open and she just looks disgusted, and she's just like, oh, when are we gonna get off the boat?
Why the fuck are we here? And she's like, where can I put my purse? And she's like, anywhere. And she's like, I'll hide it under here. Maybe no one will steal it. And
it's like, why don't you just keep your purse with you?
That part just hold it.
You put it behind an obscure chair. Why would you do that?
That's more. People are gonna find it more if you just have it with you. That was how. The best way you can avoid what you're thinking is going to happen.
Yeah, because she comes back later and her purse is not... Well, she's looking for her pills, and her pills are not in her purse anymore. So she kind of freaks out for a second, but then is fine.
Yeah.
Then she continues to interview people, and she's like, so how did you guys meet? And how do you know each other? And... she's like trying to be friendly, but then they keep talking, and she's just like disgusted by their relationship. She's like,
right.
Like they'll kiss in front of her, and she's just like, where is the shore?
When are we parking this boat?
She's
to
so
get me
grossed
out.
She's so grossed out. I think it's so funny. She's just silently judging everybody.
She is.
And that was essentially her on the boat.
Yeah, and then you have Tim who's like sneaking pills.
So Tim stole her. So Tim is like, he gets a drink, starts to panic a little bit, steals the pills. All of them.
Yeah.
Decides like, to hell with my wife. I'm taking the whole bottle. And he's just kind of like moving around like a zombie, basically. He talks to Gary for a second.
Yeah, and then he's like, I forget what he says to Gary, but I know he talks to some random couple, another bald. And he's like, I was pillar of the community. And winks. And then he's like, my grandfather was the governor of North Carolina. Father was a successful businessman. And I thank God both my parents are dead. And it's like,
and they look at him like, what? He's
how
like,
did that get to the conclusion of what you were saying?
He's like, yeah. Oh, it's such a good thing they're dead.
Right.
I think because of the public shame that's impending on him, he's glad his parents aren't going to be around to see it.
That makes sense. I was like, that was quite the jump, but that makes more sense.
His life is flashing before his eyes. But yeah, I think after this, he talks to Gary and he's like, so what do you do? And Gary kind of tells him, and then Tim is like, well, people only come to Thailand if they're running from something or running to something, or I think it's hiding from something or running from something. He said
if he's looking or hiding from
looking
something.
or hiding for something. So he's like, so what are you doing? Looking or hiding? And Gary's like, well, I just kind of wanted to get off of the merry-go-round, the cycle of, I guess, modern day just work.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, I didn't want to do that anymore, so I'm here. And he was like, so what are you running from? I love how Gary goes toe to toe with Tim. He's like, I'm not going to ask me questions. I'll ask you questions. Shit.
I got questions too. There's also the random part where he like cries to Piper and says how much he loves her. I think it's because he's reflecting on what's happening.
Yeah, he sees her and he's just like, I love you, Piper. And it seems so out of ordinary, but Piper's just like, thanks, Dad.
Thanks. But her big thing, she reveals the real reason why, you know, she wanted to come to Thailand, and she tells Lockie, and she's like, I need you to have my back tonight because I'm going to tell Mom and Dad that I came here because I want to do what is it called?
It's like a Buddhist program, essentially.
Yeah, it's some kind
to be a Buddhist,
like a mentorship or something like that.
I think that's what she called it.
And it's for like a year afterwards, and she really wants to do it. And there was no one she needed to interview or nothing like that.
They literally came to Thailand for no reason, essentially.
Basically. And so she's all like, you need to be there. And he's like, but I don't want you to leave. And she's like, you'll be fine. You're going to college.
He's like, yeah. I said, we see Lockie is like on this, like the bridge of growing up, you know, like when you're leaving your siblings behind and you're not going to be with them anymore, but you still like them. And so you're still like wanting their approval, wanting to be with them.
And like a comfort. But
that was essentially her on the boat. And then other than that, she was just hanging around her parents the whole time. She wasn't really about the partying or the drinking or even getting to know people.
No. And then with Lockie and Saxon, the whole time it's like basically Saxon's trying to get Lockie to like hook up with someone. Yeah. And like, you just got to be comfortable, man. Like all this, and like giving him awful advice. And then so Lockie takes that as, I should do magic.
I actually thought it was cool. Like that was his way of like breaking the ice. And so he was doing a bunch of magic tricks with Chloe, Chelsea, and a couple other like random girls on the boat.
It was a meditation center, with Piper.
Oh, that's a meditation center. Okay.
I just saw it in my notes. But yeah. He's like, don't sit in the corner all day. Yeah. So that's when he does the magic. And, you know, he seems to be enjoying himself.
No, everybody's impressed with the tricks. It seems really cool. Even we see him do it like more than once. And even Chelsea from afar is like, he's really good at that, Rick. Look. And Rick's like, I don't care.
Right. He's like, do you think I'm trying to meet the guy who killed my father?
And he's like, I've been thinking about this my whole life.
Do you think I care about this twink on a boat doing some card tricks?
I've got bigger fish to fry. Not a twink. Oh, Brandon.
But so that was them basically, because then by the end, Saxon and Lockie, they're like, we're gonna stay behind for the full moon party. And Piper's like, what the fuck? You're supposed to be my backup.
Yeah. And Lockie's like, sorry. But yeah, they start to get a little relaxed. Like, I guess I didn't realize Lockie's underage, but Saxon's like, have a drink. Nobody cares. Our parents don't care. They're even supervising, and they really don't.
No, not at all.
So they're starting to get a little loose, let their hair down a little bit. And that's kind of where we leave them off. Yeah.
And then we get the beginning of the dinner with Piper, the dad, and the mom. And she's like, the boat was stressful. It was a convention for con men and tax cheats.
Ironic.
Ironic, true, but ironic. Mm-hmm. And she's like, you're lucky to have a father that's an actual Boy Scout.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, is she laying it on thick, or does she think it?
I don't think so. It seems like because it's like, if you can clearly read all of those other people, summarize them properly, maybe, but it seems like she really thinks highly of her husband.
Yeah.
And is too aloof to like see anything differently. I mean, he is doing a very good job of hiding everything from you.
He is. I mean, he's hiding the specifics, but everyone knows there's something wrong with him. He's like delirious half the time.
No, throughout this whole thing, the wife asks him, are you all right? Piper's like, you good? Like, we're all trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. And then this is where we get. So Tim walks away from the table and he's like, I need my phone for a minute. And he's on the phone and he's like, the lawyer, I believe, is telling him how Kenny is cooperating with the feds and he struck some kind of deal and we need to plead guilty and make a deal. And then he's like, if I plead guilty, it's the end of my career. And it's like, well, then you're gonna, look, if there's a lot of evidence, it's gonna be the end of your career regardless.
Right.
That's not an option.
He really thought, I guess he was really thinking he had something to salvage.
Yeah.
But no, you're going down with the ship.
Yeah, and the lawyer's like, they probably already froze your assets. And he's like, I don't want to lose my house. And it's like, I get
my
it.
house? You mean assets? You mean where I live? You mean my bank accounts? Yeah, so he's screwed, and he's realizing it.
Yes.
He kind of starts to hyperventilate and like, he looks like he's like about to throw up maybe.
Yeah, and with this, Gaitok and Mook pass him. He kind of gets to where Gaitok's working. And then we're not quite sure. I don't think it's confirmed so much at the end of this episode, but it's highly suspected because he kind of looks up and it sees that he sees something, and then he returns to the table. And then it's just kind of like, oh gosh, did he take the gun that was there?
Yeah.
But that's essentially where episode 4 ends. It's kind of like very open-ended, much like a lot of these episodes, but very much setting up like the full moon party, Timothy's downfall, all these other things. So with episode 5,
do you want to just start with him?
Yeah, let's start with Tim. So I have it kind of with the Ratliffs. I have like Tim, Piper, and the mom.
They're all split up except for Lockie and
with Lockie
Saxon.
and Saxon, I just have like boat party.
Yeah.
Like kind of that way. So let's piggyback off the Ratliffs. And so we're at the dinner. Tim returns. And Piper confesses the real reason why she wants to come here, and it was to check out the meditation center, and she wants to join. And the mom's like, what are you saying?
She's like, you want to live in Taiwan? And I'm like, bitch, I know you're lying.
Right.
You better be joking, Victoria.
That part, I'm like, don't do this. And she's like, but you can't be Buddhist. You're not from China.
You're not a Buddhist. You're a Christian. And she's like, well, that's kind of the thing is I want to become a Buddhist. And she's like, but why?
She's like, you call yourself a Christian, but you're not from Bethlehem. and also it's like, bitch, when do we practice Christianity?
Yeah.
It's always those people who are like, we're Christian. And it's like, when did you last go to church?
Only when it matters in this context, when your daughter wants to do something else. Dad is like reeling from the conversation on the phone. So he's basically disassociating at the table while they're having this discussion. Yeah. He's hearing it, but not really like actively participating.
He's not. He's checked out. He's like, I'm just trying to make it through.
Mom's like, so this conversation lasts a while. It's in and out from the dinner table, like maybe for half of the episode. Yeah. So we just catch her ranting about different things. Like at one point she's like, you want to live in this place with poor people and it's dirty and they're poor. You want to be a monk, but what if it's a cult?
Everything's a cult, Piper.
She's like, you could get sold into sex slavery.
And Piper's like, I just want to find my purpose and happiness. And I'm not going to be Saxon and buy into the bullshit. And she's like, what's the bullshit, Piper? And she's like, you guys.
This.
And she's like, oh.
Our life is the bullshit. And Dad is really not participating. I think he comes in at one point. So he's like, so there was no thesis? And they're like, no, there was no thesis. And he's just like,
Yeah. And the mom's like, when did you become so extreme? But she's like, I just want different values. And then the dad stress, he walks off and she's like, he's in shock. We're both in shock.
and he's literally not. He's like thinking about 1,000 other things.
He's probably thinking of joining her at this point. He's like, anything to escape what's actually going on in life.
Right. No, he doesn't touch his food. He is literally just disassociating because he's like, damn, I'm about to lose my house and my assets and everything I've worked for.
Yeah. The mom kind of gets to a neutral state when Piper's like, you can talk to the monk in charge and all this. And she's like, okay, good. But this is bad because I don't even have lorazepam anymore. I'm going to have to drink myself to sleep.
We're straight. Look at your father. Look what you've done to him.
Yeah.
No, your Piper's mom does not understand.
No, and she just walks off. And then this is where the dad's like, he's just in a fugue state. And he just is like, I was an altar boy when I grew up. And then he starts just singing. And Piper's like, all right.
You good, Papa?
You good, Papa Altar?
Oh, well, okay. So during this, before this or during dinner, Gaitok is frantically looking for the gun. He's like looking all over the office. He cannot find the gun. He looks sick. He looks worried.
Yes.
So he's like, wait, I have cameras. So he watches back the footage and sees that Timothy took the gun and he recognizes Timothy. So he's like, okay, Timothy has the gun. And so he goes to where everybody's having dinner and Fabian sees him and he's like, hey, Gaitok, what are you doing?
Shouldn't you be working?
Shouldn't you be working? Remember that problem we've been having with security? And he's like, oh, I just came to see Mook for a couple minutes. But he looks visibly like sick. I think you could kind of see like he's like sweaty. And he's like, okay, well, you can stay for a few minutes, but like go back to the gate. You know, it's unattended, remember? And I'm like, see, Gaitok really is not great at this.
No.
Like, how often do you just get up and leave your post? But anyway, Mook passes by, so he does get to say hi to Mook, and he sees the dad at dinner, just kind of like disassociating over his plate.
Yeah, and I think at one point when Timothy walks off, he walks to the bathroom, and Gaitok is just like, I think you have something. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then just walks away.
Yeah.
And Gaitok's just standing there.
Yeah. It's a Gaitok. Like, we see Gaitok standing in one spot for like, I don't know, forever.
A good chunk. Because it's cutting between like that, Mook dancing.
He's like, he takes forever. And I'm like, oh, Gaitok, just go up to him and be like, hey, I saw like the security footage. You took the gun. But no, he can't like release. He doesn't feel comfortable to say that. So Timothy kind of brushes him off. And that was kind of it for Gaitok for a while. Until later, his coworker rejoins him and is like, anything I need to know? And Gaitok doesn't really say. So
it's like, no.
So Timothy has the gun and Gaitok's not getting it back, or not yet, at least.
Yeah.
So that, I think that was like important to say here too.
Yeah, it ties in with it, and that was all he really did. But then the Ratliffs, they go back to their room. The mom's all worried, like, what are people gonna think about Piper?
I'm like, why does it matter?
Are they gonna think we're bad parents?
And the dad's like, it's probably a phase. He is so calm. Brandon, I really thought he was about to crash out when he heard Piper say, like, when he was like, there's no thesis, and she's like, no, because basically this would be an opportune time for him to be home. Yeah. And because his daughter lied, he's stuck in Thailand while his life is falling apart. I guess it could be good, it could be bad, but like he's not even there to put out the fire. So like she kind of gave them a place to hide out for a while, but like, can they get home? You know, like, she kind of screwed them. So I thought he was going to crash out, but he didn't. He's being very calm about Piper.
He is.
He's being very calm about everything. He's kind of like disassociating and just out there.
He's at a point where it's just like there's so much else happening that Piper wanting to be a Buddhist and live here is not the worst
The
thing.
least of my concerns.
Yeah.
So funny.
He's like, Kim, people are dying, basically.
My diamond earrings fell into the water.
But then at the end of the episode, Tim's writing like a suicide note.
Yeah.
And he has the gun. He's putting it to his head.
Brendan, wait. This suicide note is so sorry. It's like,
Yeah.
family, I'm sorry, I love you. And then he starts playing with the gun. I'm like, that's all you have to leave your wife and kids? Like, you really hate them. You're really disconnected from all of this. Not 2 sentences from my dad on vacation. Can you imagine? Oh.
No. But, okay. Yeah, because he does that. At first, too, when he holds the gun, I'm like, oh, gosh, does White Lotus show, like, violence like that? Like, I hope they don't show, like, it actually happened. But then the mom interrupts. And she's like, come back to bed. You haven't been acting like yourself. And he's like, I will. Just like, do you understand the expectations I have on me and all of this?
And what's on my plate? What I have to go through?
And she's like, no.
And he's like, never mind.
He's like, sorry, it's just stress. And she's like, there's no reason to stress. You've already succeeded in every way.
Oh my gosh. The irony of the things that she says.
But
Or she knows, like Brandon said.
It's one of the two.
Yeah.
Either's good. But this is where he prays to God. He's like, tell me what to do, please. But now I'm like, okay, so definitely I think the first episode, whatever the shooting was, it's got to be with this gun. So like...
I feel like it's too obvious, but it could be. Those security guards had guns too. And
That's
so
true.
did the thief.
Yeah.
So there's guns in Thailand.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's him. Like, it reminds me of the deaths have always been like kind of an accident.
Yeah.
The first season, somebody got stabbed by mistake. He was being stupid. He was like, he was hiding from, it was like essentially Fabian was hiding from one of the guests in the hotel, but was hiding in his room because he was like going on a drunken high rampage and shit in his suitcase.
Oh gosh.
And so he comes back to the room and he like sees the suitcase. So the Fabian goes and essentially the guy who is Fabian goes, he hides in the closet, and the other guy grabs the knife because he hears something and stabs him, and he dies like that.
Yeah.
And then Tanya, she really actually she didn't get killed. She was safe.
Yeah, she like fell off the boat.
She fell off the boat, hit her head, and then drowned. So it's like always like kind
Something
of an
like that.
accidental death.
Yeah.
So
I wonder.
Yeah. But there's always something like nefarious happening. Like, this person is being weird. So like the gun being like in someone else's possession and kind of floating around, that's not a great thing. I wonder whose hands it will end up in.
Yeah.
I doubt it's Tim.
There's a lot of theories I've seen on TikTok about the Ratliffs and like how they think they're gonna die or something like that.
Yeah.
And like there's a lot of like maybe drowning, which makes sense with like the tsunami talk and like the mom's
Yeah, I wonder
dream.
if a tsunami would come. Yeah.
So there's a lot going on. So we're gonna see.
Yeah.
Soon enough. But then
That was essentially it for the three of them. We did see Piper meditate.
we did see that.
She was in her meditation game. She's it's so interesting because like this whole episode is essentially one big party for most of the cast, and then like Piper, a young adult, is in her room. Like, they really show the contrast of Piper and the lifestyle that she's adopting and like what Buddhism is. It's funny because somebody else explains what Buddhism is, and then like we see Piper practicing it. So I like her.
I do too. She seems chill.
Yeah.
She's better than the other people. But should we go to the trio next?
Or maybe the rest of the Ratliffs?
Oh, true, the boat. Yeah, let's go to the boat. Let's round them up, which also includes Chloe and
Chelsea, yeah.
Chelsea. And this is where Saxon's telling Lockie that most people don't know what they want and just want to be used. And I'm like, okay.
You belong on a list of people that is public.
You belong on a list to where you can't go certain places.
He's so sketchy, but it's like I legit think that there are men who No, there definitely are men who think and act like him. So
yeah.
I guess they get to watch themselves on White Lotus.
I think his favorite podcasts are Joe Rogan and Fresh and Fit.
Fresh and Fit, 100%.
And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But
and Lucky's just like, okay, people want to be used.
all right.
And then, wait, doesn't he ask him a question? Or it might be later. Lucky asks him something like, but what about like, I think it's later. I don't think it's right now.
But we see Chloe likes the magic tricks and likes Lockie because he's like innocent.
She's like, I want the magic boy.
Yeah.
I want his magic stick.
She's like, Gary doesn't sleep with me anymore, so I got to get with this magician.
Which is interesting to say.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I wonder why Gary doesn't sleep with you anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe he's plagued by something.
Maybe. And then Chelsea's kind of talking about how she would never cheat on Rick, which is nice.
It's like, I'm too romantic.
Which is good. Saxon encourages...
No, but Chloe says, like, all the romantic people end up lonely or something. She's like, you can't be romantic. What are you talking about?
Yeah, she's very against it because she's wanted to like hook up on this boat and cheat.
She's like, Gary's not here. I get to do what I want. So we can tell the differences in their relationships.
The amount of care and love. Saxon encourages Lockie to get with Chloe. And he's like, I want to go for Chelsea because she's rude, but it turns me on. And he's just
another red flag.
Another one. Saxon, he's just basically on his YOLO shit.
Yeah.
And Chelsea's just like, Rick is fucking mental and something bad's going to happen.
She's worried about her man.
She is. That's all she can think about, which I get. I mean, I'd think about him too if I was stuck in a boat with Saxon. But Lockie asks what happens at these parties. And Chloe's like, the vampires come out and everyone gets laid. So we need to uphold these traditions. And I'm like, oh.
Is this when they're on shore?
Yeah, this is where they're on shore and they're walking. And then Saxon asks Chelsea what happened to Rick. And she's like, oh, he's in Bangkok dealing with an issue. And well, Saxon's like, well, I'm not this old guy with any issues. And so like, I'm right here.
Yeah.
And he's like, bitch, please, can you act normal for once? Like, my God.
He's like, hey, I'm available to sleep with you if you want to sleep with someone.
Know. I got it.
Like,
noted.
It's funny how Saxon has really hyped himself up. Like, this is how you do it. And it's like, you have no game whatsoever. This girl doesn't want you. And you're like, pursuing her anyway, and you're not even good at it. Like, it's ironic.
Very. But they're basically partying, and Lockie's drinking a lot, and Saxon's like, you need to pace yourself. And he's like, one day I'm gonna take you down.
Yeah, he says that to his brother.
Like,
Lucky says that to Saxon. And Saxon was like, you need to slow it down because like they can get fucked up, but we can't. Again, you need to be on a list. Like, you're literally he's like, we have to stay like at least okay. Like, let them get fucked up. That's when it works the best. It's like, wait, what?
It's like, what are we? This is not good.
No.
And Chloe brings out a pill of some sort.
Yeah.
They didn't say exactly what it is.
Something.
I'm like, maybe it's E. I don't know. But Saxon takes one, but someone pointed out on TikTok that it looks like he took it out of his mouth at one point.
Yeah, it didn't look like he took it because at first Lockie takes it and Saxon's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, again, we're not supposed to be getting messed up. The girls take it and then Saxon does take it, and it didn't look like he...
Oh no, wait, my bad. I always flip their names. Someone said it looked like Lockie took it out of his mouth.
Oh, really? I
like
didn't catch
that. It was like in the background or something. Oh. But I did also think maybe Saxon didn't at first, but then he was acting like he did.
No, because Lockie put it in his mouth and drank immediately.
Yeah.
So
they just noticed he like got something out.
Oh,
but
okay. When I saw Saxon
maybe
take
they're
the
looking
pill,
too much into it.
Yeah. When I saw Saxon take the pill, I wondered if he actually did. But later we see them and it looks like they're all high.
Yeah. And they're just basically like going around town, hanging at the beach.
Yeah.
Lockie's getting a little handsy with his brother.
They're sitting down, he puts his arm around him and stuff.
And a lot going on there. Chelsea leaves Rick a voicemail though, making sure he's okay.
Yeah.
But then she's
We
like,
see him decline her call.
yeah.
He's like, quick, hit the button.
I do not want to do this right now. And she's just over and wants to have fun. So she also takes the pill. But basically it's them dancing. They're feeling the drugs. It's also going between them and the trio, which we'll get to the trio. But Saxon and Lockie jump out of the boat. They're like back on the boat and they're partying. And Chloe's worried about Rick, or Chelsea's worried about Rick. And Chloe asks if the four of them should bang, but Chelsea still doesn't want to hurt Rick.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know. And I was like, please don't. Saxon is not worth your time.
Yeah.
Or your energy.
Of all people, don't do this.
Don't do this.
And then Chloe, this is where Chloe just kind of throws out that she thinks Gary's capable of murder.
Yeah, because Chelsea says like, yeah, I wouldn't want to do that to Rick. She's like, what is he gonna do, kill you? And she's like, no, but I think he'd be upset. And she's like, I think Gary would kill me. And it's like
which I guess tracks with what we know about him.
Yeah, it tracks, but like, why do you know that?
Yeah. I'm like,
why are you okay with that?
Maybe he just gives that vibe.
Yeah.
But they're drinking and dancing. Saxon gets Chloe and Chelsea to kiss. And like, oh, girls kissing each other. And then Chloe's like, you two kiss. And Saxon's like, no. But then Lockie's like, okay.
Lockie jumps on it.
He does. And first it's like a peck. And then he like goes back for like a makeout.
Yes. And it lasts a little bit. I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
And the girls are just laughing. I didn't see Saxon's reaction.
He seemed just confused.
He's so inebriated. They're both like kind of out of it. So you could blame the drugs, I guess. But Lockie was like, yes.
No, Lockie's been wanting this. And look, since the first episode has been hinted at that maybe something incestual would happen. But I was kind of like, maybe not. Like,
yeah, maybe he's just curious. But
but now we know.
No.
He was a little more than curious.
Yeah, they're weird. I wonder if there's like a past there, because there's like a moment where he's like giving him a nuggie in when they first like get to shore, and he's like roughhousing with him, and I'm just like, y'all look.
There's a little something else with this. It ain't just brotherly love.
But it's clear that Lockie is not into Chloe.
No,
not into these women. He's just playing along with his brother.
He is. He's trying to like fit in. Someone also pointed out, remember in the beginning of this season when they are on the boat, there's like a shot of the three of them, like the Ratliffs, and I forget who was doing what, but one had sunglasses, one had headphones, and one had something over their mouth.
Oh, so like the monkeys.
See no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil type
and we've
thing.
been seeing those monkeys everywhere.
So they're like, something with this is tying in.
Who had which? I wonder.
I forget. I feel like Piper had headphone, or was it? I forget.
Yeah, I wonder, because I definitely think there could be some more symbolism there, like who's not talking, who's not listening, who's not paying attention, who's not watching.
Yeah, but so that was pretty much it with the boat party. Just random drug taking, incest, and things that I guess happen at the full moon party. Any
symbolism with these guys? Because I felt like I clearly saw it with the trio in the last episode. But with this family, I mean, I really think the biggest irony is just the mom, like, clearly seeing that these other men are nefarious, but not her own husband.
Yeah.
I also think it's interesting that, even the dichotomy of Saxon and how he's like, I'm a player and I can do this and I can do that. But really, he's not.
No, like he gets, I mean, we don't know what his life is like back home, but he's not getting, he doesn't really have any game. He's just like douchey and tall. Yeah,
like he says a lot, but his actions don't follow up as much. But also his like aggression, like he takes what he wants kind of thing, like you want them like this and you want like them like that, and you want people don't know what they want, you got to take them or make them convince them, and it's like what's that about?
It's a very like problematic, toxic,
he's an abusive person.
he's got things going on. And clearly has anger issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see, because it looks like in the preview for next episode, it seems as though he's having sex with someone, and people are like, is that with his brother? But maybe it's a dream. We'll see.
Yeah.
But there's definitely, because I know it cut to something where it was like they're partying, and then it does, like you said, cut to Piper meditating, and it's kind of like a quick thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's meaning something that we're missing.
And when she was meditating, she looked really zoned out. Like,
she did.
No lights are on. She's just like, I was like, did you see them? I'm curious.
So do we want to do the trio or Rick next?
Rick had an interesting. Let's do the trio. I mean, it doesn't matter, Brendan.
Yeah, we'll do the trio. Rick does have an interesting one.
Yeah.
But basically they're just at the club with Valentine and the friends, and they're like dancing and all this, and like there's this bald friend that's kind of creepy, and he just has bad vibes, and he's like, my parents are dead and my sister's a bitch, and this is why I love my friends. And they're like, oh, okay.
All right. They're Russian, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then they're dancing. There's like these 3 random girls that are eyeing Jacqueline down.
Yeah.
And then she's just like dancing closer with the guys. And
yeah.
she's like, ugh. And it's like giving a performance.
100%. I feel like the theme of her like chasing down her youth is still the same, because it's like, these young girls are judging me. Well, keep watching, because I'm
hotter than you could ever be, bitch.
I'm gonna make out with this guy later, maybe, and then and look, I'm so sexy and I'm so this, which is so interesting. It's like you're compensating for a lot. You're an actress. Right. You care about what these little jits at the bar want to say about you.
Yeah, I don't.
It's interesting.
She's an interesting one.
Very insecure.
I noticed that Kate looked very confused while dancing.
Yeah,
she just looked very like. And it's like, Tina, girl,
they portrayed they portrayed white women at the club very well. Just lots of like, very sensual, but also like the stereotypical like head banging almost, and like punching the air and punching the sky. I was like, you better go off, queen.
Just moving. Yeah. Is it going with the music? Maybe.
Shaking her hair. Maybe, and like
not.
They were really feeling it. I was like, okay, y'all are going in. But they're like, whoa, we're having fun. This is amazing.
But they take a break, and then Valentine says the one girl is a sexy dancer. What's her name? Is it Leslie? Or what's her name?
I thought it was Kate and Lauren, right? Or Laura?
Oh my gosh, y'all.
What's her name? Sorry. I think it's Lauren.
I know at one point I wrote it down. I know Kate is the short bob, and then the fun one has a different name. But
the one they want Valentine to hook up with. Lori. Okay.
That's her name. But she they take more shots and everything, and they were trying to get Kate to take one, but she wouldn't. She's like, I can't, guys. No, I can't. And Lori's like, I'll take it. And
everybody looks at her like, whoa, she took it. Wow.
And then so they're just like chilling at the table and everything. And then the trio walks up to them and they just start yelling at one of Valentine's friends.
Yeah.
And not sure what's being said or anything. They're speaking a different language.
Yeah, but it's like, it kind of seems like one of those women, the main woman who's yelling is like his partner, and is like, why are you with these women? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And then so the other ladies, the original trio, they decide to leave, but they invite them back to the villa. And Kate's like, I don't think that's a good idea.
Kate's like, we're done, guys, right? We're going to go back and go to sleep, right? And they're like, no, come back and meet us at the villa. Yeah.
Let's party.
Valentine's like, okay, I'll get you a taxi and we'll meet you over there. And they do. Well, the next thing we see is them all like by the pool, and the guys come take their clothes off and jump in. The bald one got naked.
He did. We saw everything. Mm-hmm. And I was like, of all the people to do that, it had to be you. But then they're all talking, and Lori's ranting about her lawyer job and like her divorce and having to pay alimony. Mm-hmm. And then the bald guy's opening it up to Kate and Jacqueline about his past. And Kate's like, I think we should end this. Like, this has got to end.
I was like, I love a responsible friend. Like, honestly, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind
I
of
wish
just...
you were with Chelsea and them so you could protect them from Saxon's predator ass.
This is where the Kate, her personality is good and is much needed. There needs to be a Kate in every one of these situations. But then that's not where this ends. The party's not quite over because Jacqueline's walking around the place. She's got a little smirk. She's answering her phone. We're like, who's at the door? And it's Valentine. And they're making out, and she's just like, let's fuck. And he's getting naked. We see a little of Valentine. And it's just interesting because this whole time she's been like, Lori, you need to hook up with him. Like, Lori, y'all need to get together.
Yeah.
Lori, oh my gosh, he wants you. Lori.
Yeah.
And then secretly she's like, I'm going to fuck him.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you're that kind of girl.
She is. It's interesting too because before they all left, you kind of saw maybe Lori like maybe thinking about it, maybe thinking about asking one of the guys to stay or something, but she lets them go. And then Jacqueline is like, all right, I told you twice. I'm taking him now.
Third time's the charm, and I'm sweeping it now. Which, hey, so I definitely think that's gonna be, because we predicted before with them, they're all gonna like get in a fight about their lives because they all talk shit about each other. It's definitely gonna come up or become revealed that she slept with Valentine.
I wonder,
and that's gonna be something
because nobody else was awake, right? We didn't see any of the other girls.
Yeah, not that we saw. And they'll probably bring up the fact that she's, oh, I thought you were so happy in your marriage and all this.
Just like, my husband doesn't answer the phone.
But yeah, the trio's dynamic got a little more interesting.
It did, and it was interesting. So we kind of see Jacqueline again, like trying to reclaim her youth. Lori is like, I think, trying to be more free, but is still focused on the things that are plaguing her.
She seems to be very like trying to let loose, but also honest about what's plaguing her. She's like, look, like I'm going through this, but I'm trying to have a good time.
Yeah.
Like she's real.
Right. Because she talks about the like alimony or how she has to pay. Is it called? What's it when you pay?
I think she called it alimony. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, she has to pay to her husband. She's like, yeah, I'm paying this. And who wants to be in a Fortune 500 and all this stuff? And they laugh at her and she's like, haha, laugh at me. And they're like, no, you need a man. You need like a real man, you know? So they're listening. They're giving her some feedback. And
they
then
are.
Kate, who I feel like was kind of carefree, is well, actually, no, because we saw that she's a Trump supporter and she's like,
she's been a little reserved.
Very reserved. She's like, it's cool to drink and stuff, but like, we're gonna bring them back to the villa? That's crazy.
Yeah. She like opened up a little bit, but like she has a limit.
Yeah, because they like when they all jumped in the pool together, because the girls get in the pool too. Lori, like, I think takes her clothes off. Yeah, so I think they got maybe a little handsy in the pool, but that was kind of it for Lori.
Yeah.
Kate definitely was not in the pool.
No, she was,
sitting like
she
on
was
the
over
steps.
it. She didn't even want them to come back.
Yeah. So it's interesting how the three of them are like all like, I guess, wanting to let loose, but not really, or how they're going about it.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, Jacqueline lets loose.
She's like, it is what it is. When in Thailand, enjoy
what happens
Thailand.
in Thailand stays in Thailand.
Yeah,
we'll see about that.
But these guys look sketchy, and it reminds me of last season and how Tanya was with all the gays and they were really schmoozing her up, showing her a good time, and they turned out to be not so great. And I'm like, so be careful with Valentine. Who knows? Maybe he's not a great guy. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, he gives me a weird vibe. Like I said in episode 4, I was just kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, and your friends are sketchy for real.
Yeah, Kate had enough wherewithal to be like, okay, like it's done.
There's somebody on Twitter that will translate what people are saying in other languages on shows, and I'm curious what the Russian girl was yelling at her man.
Oh yeah, it seemed very angry.
Very.
It probably was something like they were together, or maybe they're on and off, or something like that. But then we have Rick. He arrives in Bangkok. The first half, we're kind of just seeing him. He's like there.
He's just traveling. Yeah.
He's situating himself.
He yells at some strangers. He's in a very nice room.
Yeah. And then he meets with this guy at the bar or in the lobby, and then they go to the bar. And he seems like an old friend.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Who's this? And at first it's kind of hard to like read this dynamic or something. It's like, are they friends? I was like, is this something more? Like, what's happening here?
Yeah, like I was like, Rick, is this your secret lover?
Right.
There was some sexual tension, and I was like, I felt like even before dudes started talking,
Yeah.
I was like,
there was a little something. There was
like,
a vibe.
Yeah, because they sit down and Rick orders a drink and the friend orders a chamomile tea. He's like, chamomile? And he's like, yeah, man, I don't drink anymore. Yep, not on alcohol. I've been sober for X amount of years. And Rick's like,
10 months sober.
Oh, 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a long time.
I mean, hey, it's something.
Well, it makes his story make more sense with that timeline.
Yeah. And he's like, I don't think we ever hung out sober. And he's like, well, I found religion. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But then he gives him a bag with something. And it's like, oh, this is the friend he asked for a favor in one of the other episodes. But then the friend decides to kind of give his backstory about why he moved to Thailand.
And why he got sober.
And this is where we get a monologue of all monologues. Because
this story had weight to it.
He moved to Thailand because he liked Asian girls. And so he hooked up with a lot of them and
Thousands,
partied.
he says. Thousands of girls.
Thousands. But then he started to lose it and he was questioning what his desire actually was. And then it started to morph into, do I want to be with these Asian girls? Or do I want to be one of these Asian girls? And it's like, okay. This is, all
We're
right.
following you.
Yes.
We're listening.
One night, he had hooked up with ladyboys before, but this time he let the ladyboy fuck him. And it was magical, he said. And so he put out an ad to find a white guy looking like him to fuck him. Because he was like, do I want to be fucked by me?
Yeah.
Am I attracted to these Asian girls because they're being fucked by me?
Yeah, like, do I want me because to fuck me because I want them?
Very an interesting.
It was. I was listening though. I was like, okay.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, like you're interested in like understanding the sexual experience from both perspectives.
All right.
Okay.
We see this.
We hear you.
And so he finds the white guy to fuck him, and then he made himself into a girl. He put on lingerie, and then he got addicted to that. And he was doing that so many times. And then it just cuts to Rick, and Rick is just like,
Rick's just like,
okay.
Like he's nodding. He's listening just like we are. It was interesting because it's like this story is profound and also like, I don't want to say like, yeah, it's profound and weird at the same time. Like, you hear somebody, like sometimes somebody's talking and you're like, all right. And then it's like, wait, what? It's
A
like
lot
a
of
mix
unexpected turns.
A lot of unexpected turns. And I don't mean to say like weird in a bad way, but just like out of the ordinary. Maybe that's what I mean.
It's not a typical like story you would hear.
Yeah.
Like a self-proclaimed like straight guy talk about. It was dare I say revolutionary?
Yes, I think so.
And weird in a good way, I would say. Weird in just like okay, this is different. This is a different perspective. This is just very different. Rick looked dumbfounded, which I get because it took so many turns. It was like, wait, where are we going with this?
Because Rick would kind of be like, I felt like Rick was me because he's listening and he's just like, all right. Like he'd nod and then keep listening. But essentially he had a series of men, sometimes all at once, like, fucking him. And he would
have like an Asian girl there watching him get fucked as he was dressed as one of them.
Yeah. To like, I guess embody the full he would pay the girl just to come in and watch. And he would pay some men also to like, perform.
Yeah.
And so he was just like talking about how he did that for a long time too.
It was like a meta, you watching what would happen to you and what we would do from your perspective. Like it was a very like a hat on a hat on a hat. It's just
Yeah.
like very like.
It's like he's wanting to embody the female experience.
Yeah.
To the point where he even wants a woman to watch, to see her watching and see what that he's trying to he's every aspect of this sexual experience he wants to embrace.
Yes, which you know
in some way.
Yeah, but then basically it got to the point where he realized he had to stop and get into Buddhism.
Which was very abrupt to me. I wanted to know why.
Yeah, it was like, was there a bad experience? Like, when did you get to this breaking point?
Or maybe it became too much, because he did talk about finances a little bit. Like, yeah, sometimes I'd have to pay for this or pay for that. Like, it became very transactional, and maybe it lost its essence. And so he's like, so yeah, now I'm a Buddhist, but I do miss sex sometimes.
Yeah.
He's like, being sober, not so bad, but being celibate, it's tough.
Horrible.
Yeah, I can imagine you know, so embracing your sexuality and like enjoying sex in all of these facets, and then to just not do it at all.
Yeah. He's very extreme. Talk about extreme, Victoria. You think Piper's extreme?
This guy.
Yeah, but then it ends. He says goodbye to his friend, and then Rick says, I may need another favor. And then he mentions role play, and I'm like, are you trying to like...
Who does? Rick or
Rick, yeah.
Rick? Oh,
and I'm like,
that.
or maybe there's a scenario, because it's like he gave him a gun, so clearly he has some connect or something going on. So I'm like, maybe role play, like act like you're somebody when I meet up with this guy, like the owner or something.
I was about to say, yeah, maybe act like security, or act like we're gonna kidnap him. I don't know.
I don't know. And then I was like, Rick, are you trying to explore your... But then I'm like, probably not. But it was just funny. He said role play after that whole monologue.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was funny. So yeah, I want to know what this story was. I was like really racking my brain. Like, why? Why did we get this? Maybe we don't know yet. Maybe it connects to something else.
Yeah. I wonder if this friend's going to be a bigger presence in later episodes.
Yeah. I mean, the whole episode, a major theme was sex.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just like showing us all facets, like exploratory at from Lockie, and then like Jacqueline just fully indulging in what she wants, and then somebody who's explored it in more facets than I think people would even imagine. You know, maybe that's it. But this show is deep, man. I like it.
It is. I do too.
I like it. Picasso.
Picasso. Yeah. And then basically just... He like calls Chelsea at the end of the episode, but I don't think she answers because, you know, as we know, she's at that party with the Kissing Brothers.
She is.
And then I think the only other thing left of this episode is Belinda. Again, not too much is happening with her. But
yeah.
She's got a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Belinda.
But
did we see Mook after the dance? No, right?
No, I think we just saw the dance. She slayed though.
Yeah, she ate. Get it, Mook.
Get it. Belinda does ask Fabian, or Fabian asks if she's enjoying things, and she says yes. And then this is where he tells her a regular was asking all about her. And it's like, oh, this sounds like maybe it's
He's
scary.
like, I plan to introduce you later.
And she's like, huh?
I was like, you better tell Fabian no. I don't want to meet anybody.
Yes. And then later in the episode, she checks back with him and she's like, look, I'm freaked out. The guy asking about me, like, I found out all these things. Like, I found out about my friend Tanya. Like, he's connected to her murder and like all this stuff. His name's Greg.
They're looking for him.
Yeah. And she's like, we should call the police. And Fabian's like, no.
We should call no one.
I think you're mistaken. You have nothing to worry about. He sounded great and like he liked you.
He's like, oh, well, it's not right. It's not proper. It's not good form to talk about guests like this. I was like, fuck your good form. Did you hear what she said?
That part.
Because I was also racking my brain. Like, who do you call? What do you do? Because when people are on the run in a different country, there's not a whole lot you can do.
You know, because all that happened in Italy.
It happened in Italy. I mean, you could tell the Italians that he's in Thailand, but are they gonna like go overseas to find you?
Right. But she shows Porn Chai pick up Greg Gary, and he recognizes him. He's like, I'll keep you safe.
Yeah.
And then they hear something outside the window, but they move some furniture and there's like this giant lizard.
That thing was big too. I was like, thank you, porn shy. He's like, ooh, ooh, like ushering it outside. And I was like, that's what's been in your apartment this whole time, or your room this whole time.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, he's like, okay, I should go. And she's like, can you stay? My son will be here tomorrow, but like, you know, just for like my peace of mind, like, can you stay? He's like, okay. So he gets ready for bed.
Yeah. And she's like, you could sleep in that bed or you could sleep in this bed, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, both options are fine.
Yeah. And then he like sits next to her and they make eye contact and then they kiss. And it's so sweet.
My Shayla. Oh, they're so cute. I was like, are you going to do it? Are you going to do it, porn shy? And he does.
They did. It was so nice. It was such like a nice loving moment as
like,
opposed
I'm gonna
to
protect you.
The other some moments, you know, with the incest.
Yeah, and all the others.
Jacqueline and Valentine.
So this really is, the theme is like sexuality or like exploring intimacy in all forms. I'd say intimacy in all forms. Interesting episode.
Very interesting. I kind of missed the preview of the last episode. I remember that small part with Saxon, but I don't know what else. But I usually don't always watch the preview. I like to be surprised.
No, I was like, I got stuff to do.
Right. But these 2 episodes were good. They're laying some groundwork.
Yeah.
And like, I think we're getting a little more into the meat of the stories with everyone and what could possibly happen. But yeah, I'm excited for the next one.
Yeah. White Lotus so far is a lot of fun. I like, it reminds me of like when I was in high school and we're like reading Moby Dick and trying to find what the metaphors are and what are we really talking about here, reading Shakespeare, which was so confusing, but what are we really talking about here? But it's fun to dissect it in a show like this, where you know that there are themes to unpack. You know
something's happening and there's a reason for everything.
So
yes,
thanks for joining us, y'all.
Yes, that's it for today's episode. Thank y'all so much. Make sure, please, to rate and review us.
Yes,
give us 5 stars.
5 of them,
please. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5. And you can leave a review, of course, on Apple Podcasts. We love those. We like to shout those out. On Spotify, you can leave comments. Those are fun. We're posting a lot of clips on TikTok at the Shady of It All podcast. There are a lot of fun clips, so follow us there. If you want to see our beautiful faces instead of listening to our beautiful voices, you can do both by subscribing to our YouTube channel and watching the full-length YouTube videos. Yes. You can also follow our Instagram at the Shade of It All pod because we post our clips there as well. And that's it. We'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.